Okay, this free response is from 2009, question 1. It starts off by telling you there's an economy, it's in long-run equilibrium. It gives you the inflation rate is 6%, unemployment rate is 5%, and the nominal interest rate is 8%. You're going to need all those things to answer the questions. Part A starts off by asking you to draw the Phillips curve. The Phillips curve has inflation up here and unemployment, a downward sloping short-run Phillips curve, a vertical long-run Phillips curve. Remember, there's an inverse relationship in the short run between inflation and unemployment. In the long run, there's no relationship between them. That's why the Phillips curve in the long run is vertical. The question tells us to put a point A somewhere on this graph showing where we are currently with the information it gave. It told us the economy is in long-run equilibrium, which means point A is right here. The inflation rate is 6%, and the unemployment rate is 5%. That graph with the labeling is worth 2 points. In B, it asks you to calculate the real interest rate. If the nominal interest rate is 8%, but inflation is 6%, that means the real interest rate must only be 2%. In C, it starts off with monetary policy. It says the Fed wants to decrease the inflation and get it down to 3%. And what open market operation should they use to make that happen? Open market operations involve buying and selling bonds. In this situation, they want to decrease the interest rate, and so they sell bonds. Part D asks you to draw the graph for the money market from the monetary policy you had in Part C. The money market graph has the nominal interest rate and the quantity of money. A downward sloping demand for money, a vertical supply of money, that sets the nominal interest rate and the quantity of money. When the Fed sells bonds, that's going to decrease the money supply, causing this curve shift to the left. That's going to cause the nominal interest rate to increase. So drawing and labeling this graph at the original equilibrium and showing the shift is worth 2 points. Saying selling bonds was worth another point. Calculating the real interest rate was 2% was another point. How you doing so far? In E, it asks you what's going to happen to aggregate demand when the money supply decreases. The answer is the aggregate demand is going to decrease. The reason why is because an increase in the interest rate is a decreased investment and decreased consumption in interest-sensitive products. Remember, that's the idea of contractionary monetary policy. The answer to F actually has a lot of moving parts. So to help you out, I've drawn the aggregate demand and aggregate supply curve from this policy. So initially starting in a long-run equilibrium, aggregate demand has fallen, and now we're here in a recessionary gap. The question is asking what happens to the short-run Phillips curve when this economy starts to return towards the long run. Eventually, wages and prices will go down, and so the aggregate supply will shift to the right and put us in a new long-run equilibrium. When the aggregate supply shifts to the right, the short-run Phillips curve will shift to the left. So the answer is shift left. Let's rewind and make sure you got that. This point A is the same as this here, point A. When the aggregate demand falls, that means we're here at point B, and we have a recessionary gap, which means this is right here, B, a recessionary gap. When the aggregate supply shifts to the right, the Phillips curve shifts to the left and puts a new curve right here with a new point, point C. That point C is the same as this right here, point C. Because people expected lower prices and lower inflation because of this contractionary monetary policy, we ended up with decreased wages, increasing air supply, shifting the short Phillips curve to the left. For the explain, I wrote a decrease in resource prices, a decrease in inflationary expectations. Now FI is worth 2 points, and E was also worth 2 points. Last question, what happens to the natural rate of unemployment after the ag supply shifts to the right? The answer is nothing. The natural rate of unemployment is the idea of the long-run Phillips curve, and we're still at 5%. We started at 5%, we ended at 5%. So the long-run Phillips curve and the natural rate of unemployment did nothing. All right, let's add them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 points total. Add them all up, see how you did. Until next time.